In this video, we'll make a quick review on the chapter Polymers. So what are polymers? Polymers are those macromolecules which are formed by repeated joining of small structural units called monomers. These polymers have high molecular mass ranging from 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 7 units. So what are monomers? Monomers are those simple repeating units of a polymer. So let us consider an example for both of these. In this reaction, n number of moles of ethene, when it is polymerized, forms polyethene of n number of moles. Here, ethene, which is on the left side, is nothing but a monomer which joins to form polyethene, or also called as a polymer. So, moving on to the classification of polymers. There are many classifications of polymers. In that, the first one, Homo polymer and copolymer. So, what are these Homo polymers and copolymer? Homo polymer is a polymer which is formed by only one type of monomer. For example, consider n number of moles of ethene. When polymerized, it forms polyethene. So, in the preparation of polyethene, there is one monomer which is ethene is being used. So, polyethene is an example for homopolymer. So, the next, which is copolymer. So, what are copolymers? These are the polymers which are formed by more than one monomer. For example, let us consider n moles of 1,3 butadiene and acrylonitrile in the presence of peroxide. It forms double bond CH2 CH, single bond CH2, single bond CH, CH2 and a CN, which is nothing but Buna N, which is a polymer which you will study in the later part of the chapter. So in this reaction, there are two monomers which are used. So, moving on to the next type of classification. The second type of classification has three types. First one, natural polymers. So, these are the polymers which occur in nature or obtained from nature. For example, proteins which occur in human bodies and in animal bodies are an example for natural polymers. Starch as well. And the second type of classification is synthetic or synthetic polymers. These are the polymers which are prepared by humans in laboratories on a big scale. For example, consider PVC, or also called as polyvinyl chloride, and nylon. And the next type is semi-synthetic polymers. These are the polymers which are derived from naturally occurring polymers by a slight chemical modification. That is, when you take a natural polymer and modify it by a slight chemical composition, you would produce a semi-synthetic polymer. For example, a classical example for semi-synthetic polymers is cellulose acetate, which is also called as rayon. So now, moving on to the third type of classification. In that, linear polymers. So these are the polymers in which monomers are attached or linked together to form a straight or long chain. To form long and linear chains. For example, HDPE, are also called as high density polyethylene, which is a classical example for linear chain molecules or linear chain polymers. Branch chain polymers are those polymers in which monomers are linked together to form long chains, as well as with side chains, are also called as branches. For example, LDPE, which is nothing but low density polythene, and glycogen, which is present in human bodies, is an example for branch chain polymers. And the next type is cross-linked polymers. In these polymers, monomers are linked together to form a 3D network. For example, polymer called bakelite and another polymer called melamine formaldehyde resin is an example for cross-linked polymers. Now, moving on to the next type of classification. So, what are addition polymers? These are the polymers in which, after the polymerization of monomers, there is no byproduct which is formed. Remember this point. In addition polymers, polymers are formed by with no elimination of byproducts. For example, consider n moles of ethene, which after polymerization forms polyethene of n moles where no byproduct such as H2O or HCl is formed. So these type of polymers are examples of addition polymers. Please note this point of no elimination of byproducts. Moving on to the next type of classification, which is condensation polymers. So these are the polymers in which after the polymerization or after the reaction, elimination of byproducts such as H2O or HCl or an alcohol is formed. Let us consider an example for condensation polymer. For example, consider n moles of hexamethylene diamine, which would react with n moles of adipic acid to form nylon 6,6 and gives out H2O as byproduct. Since H2O is getting released in this reaction, nylon 6,6 is an example for condensation polymer. So, I hope the classification of polymers is clear. So, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.